in Indianapolis. We got two good calls here, Bob and Tim, and others too, coming online. In Indianapolis, Indiana. Bob, speak your mind.
Hello, Bob Inyart?
Yes, sir.
I love your show.
Thank
and
you.
I agree with everything I've heard you say so far.
All right. How long you been listening, watching?
I was channel surfing about a year ago, and I stumbled upon your show, and I just love it.
Hey, Bob, thank you very much.
But, and you've taught me a lot of things.
All right.
And you've helped me in talking to sinners through some of the logic and reason that you've taught me. But I'd like to teach you a quick thing, if I could.
All right.
You should be more meek.
All right.
I've heard you call people a fool, and I'd just like to teach you that in Matthew chapter 5, verse 22, it says, "But whosoever shall say, 'Thou fool,' shall be in danger of hellfire."
Well, I definitely don't want to go to hell. But I am, and Bob, I really appreciate your call. I'd like to talk to you about this. I'm forgiven, and I thank God that He's forgiven me, and I have an assurance of my salvation. So I'm not afraid of going to hell. But aren't there other places in the Bible? I want to try to drive at, if you're understanding that passage, where it talks about fools. It calls people fools.
Yeah, there sure are.
Right?
But we're not supposed to... we can call their actions foolish, but...
No, them personally. What if somebody says there is no God? What does the Bible call that person?
I don't know what, a fool?
Right. Psalm 53:1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Right? Now, if there's a fool out there who thinks there is no God, and God has told us he's a fool, am I doing him a favor by not letting him know, keeping from him what God thinks of him?
No. The call I'm referring to is a man who said that he was talking about abortion, and then he was talking about welfare, and you called him a fool, and it's probably another soul lost because you've hurt his feelings.
All right. Hey, Bob, this is great. I'm thrilled you called about this. I don't know how old are you?
16.
16. All right.
I went to a public school, and then between 8th and 9th grade, I switched to a private school.
All right. I wish I knew the number, but I don't. But I wish I knew the number of how many people whose feelings I hurt have turned to God and become Christians. Because it's a lot of people. You know, and I said some weeks back, I was talking to one caller, I think her name was Tina. My mother, to start with, I like brutally went after my mother for this stupid thing she was believing. I became a Christian freshman in high school. And I remember my mother in tears because I was hitting her, not physically, but hitting her verbally and emotionally with her beliefs and how ignorant they were. And I remember her in tears. And then a couple weeks later, this was back in 1973, she prayed to become a Christian.
Great.
And I know, thank God. And then within a few years, my two other brothers and my sister became Christians. And then, 10 years later or so, my dad became a Christian. He was really hard. And that was the beginning. I have hit people over the head for years. And guess what? If we look in the Bible, we can see that prophets and Jesus himself often said things that did make their listeners so angry, at times they just wanted to kill them. Right? That happens a lot. Now, I'd like to describe something else, and we could go to a ton of places in the Bible to show that. I mean, the Apostle Paul would speak, and there'd be a riot. The people would start rioting. They'd take him out and kill him, or they'd try to kill him. They'd stone him. They left him for dead. That happened all through the Bible. And Jesus said things to intentionally offend people. But let me tell you this, and you're young and you probably haven't looked into all this, but people have different kinds of makeups, right?
Right.
Some people are very extroverted, other people are very introverted. And wouldn't you agree it's good either way? Whether you're outgoing or more introspective, they're both great kinds of people.
No, probably not.
Oh, really? Why?
Um,
I mean, if everybody was an extrovert, we would all want to kill ourselves.
Oh, well, okay.
Because we'd all be talking, no one would be listening, and it would be an insane world. But introspective people are so important just so we can have sanity. And I mean, I am extremely attracted to introverted people because they think a lot, you know, and they're not always running off at the mouth. They think about what they're going to say before they say it, which is a wonderful, anyway, there's different kinds of people. Not only is there different kinds of people with the way we relate to one another, but there's a different kinds of people with the way we process information. Some people process information relationally, and other people process information based on principles. And I think I know which kind you are. Could you hang on one moment? We'll talk a little more about this.
Sure.
Okay, you're right back. Bob, there are two kinds of people.
Right.
All right? And one way we could describe them, and it's a little unfair of a description, but thinkers and feelers. But what that means is that people process information differently. Some people process information primarily based on relationships, and others process things primarily based on principles. So that if you have a boss who's a thinker, and principles to him come before relationships, all right, in his way of thinking. So if there's somebody who's coming in late or not doing a good job, the thinker will tell that person, you have to come in on time or you will be fired, right?
Okay.
The feeler will say to that person, you know, I really care about you and I want to know what's happening in your home life, and that's the way they'll deal with it.
Okay.
And both things are important. And that's why it's so great the way God made us genetically. There's a good mixture of all types of people everywhere you go.
And I see what you're getting at.
Right. And now you're likely a feeler, which is a compliment. Because relationships are the most important thing in life.
Yeah, you know, also I've written down several of your quotes from you, like about homosexuality, something about a depressed lifestyle leads to disease and death.
Right.
And other things on maybe humanists and stuff like that.
Right.
And I've talked to a homosexual who I've converted to a Christian through knowledge that I've gained on your show.
Bob, I am so thrilled to hear that. I'm absolutely thrilled. How long ago was that?
This was about 2 months ago.
Wow.
We were camping, and I stayed up all night, about 4 hours talking to him.
Bob,
And
thank you so very much. You know, and that is happening with people watching this show. We're equipping them with the weapons of faith, which are truth and justice, righteousness, the weapons of our faith, of Christianity, the truth. Jesus Christ is the truth. And that's what we want. We want to reach out to these people and get them saved. But when I do that, I reach out, a lot of things are offensive. It's offensive to tell the truth today. And a feeler, you have thinkers and feelers. And a thinker, if you have people who are extreme in either way, a feeler will never tell them the truth because they don't want to hurt their feelings, and the person goes to hell while the feeler's been smiling the whole time. The thinker who's too extreme doesn't care at all about the person, only cares about the issue. And I know, because I know me, I have a passionate concern for the person. Passionate. But I approach it different than most feelers, and I think that God has overwhelmingly blessed my approach. Because of the fruit, I don't know how many people, but many have turned to God, because of the things He's given me to say to people. So that's why I do it the way I do it.
hey, Bob.
Yeah.
You're also, pretty eloquent when you talk. Did you used to be maybe an attorney or something?
I'll take that as an insult.
Okay.
No, I hadn't. I thought about it growing up. I used to go to trials. My uncle is a very well-known attorney in New Jersey. Defends murder cases, drugs, mafiosa type. But no, I haven't been, and I'm glad I haven't been because, there were three groups of people Jesus didn't like: the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the lawyers. And He didn't like them. And there's a good reason. because the law should be so simple that everyone is an expert in the law. And lawyers who are experts in the law, even back then, that's what they were, the experts in the law make the law so complicated, no one can understand it but them, and that's an incredible cause for people to go to hell, because the law is a tool of evangelism. But today it's a tool to cause corruption. Hey, Bob, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Great call. Neat guy.